everybody, this is Noelle from Petitti's, and we are actually going to do a three-part series on houseplants that you love. So if you love them, maybe try something a little bit different and test the waters in a different plant category. Today we're going to talk about kind of those beginner, low maintenance houseplants. And of course, we love snake plants or Sansevieria. And so snake plants, if you're not aware of them, are an awesome plant for indoor house plants, and they are right behind me, and they're going to be this more kind of upright lance-shaped leaf type plant. We do have a couple of different forms that we'll go over in a little bit later, but they are just so easy to take care of in all different household situations, even in the office and the apartment and everything else. So if you love snake plants, also known as mother-in-law's tongue, you will love ZZ plants. So this is the plant that we kind of wanted to introduce you to and make you a little bit more aware of. It's newer out there in the houseplant market, although some of you are going to be like, yeah, I've got a bunch of those already. There are only a few varieties of ZZ plants, but again, they are so phenomenal indoor house plants. So let's talk about why these plants work so well, and you can interchange them and place them in different areas. First of all, the snake plant is actually native to Western Africa, and so they do like tropical areas. So envision a little bit dry area again, but if it's tropical, it's going to be a little bit more shady, a little bit more moisture there, but really these guys again would like low to medium. They can take bright indirect light. I have seen them take some sun through the windows. You will notice if you're burning a snake plant because it will really fade out on you, get some sunspots, get some burn spots on it. And it's interesting because ZZ plants, kind of the same thing. They are native to Africa, but more Eastern Africa, and they do like it drier. They don't necessarily need the cover or the canopy cover as the Sansevieria do, but they still work in low indirect lighting to like bright lighting. So again, same light configuration with both of these, and drier soil, folks. I'm talking one thorough watering where you do moisten the soil, then let it drip out, and then do one more thorough watering, moistening the soil, let that water drip out, and then place it back where you want it. These plants, after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, closer to that, they need to be dry, bone dry, before you reapply water. So keep that in mind. There's very few issues with them, knock on wood. Again, with the ZZ and the snake plant, we rarely see those common indoor house plants. Every once in a while, you might see scale on it on either one of the plants, but it is very, very irregular. So we rarely have any issues. Do watch out if you let them go super dry and you don't realize, oh my gosh, they are bone dry. Sometimes they can get dry rot, believe it or not. So just be aware of that when you start to see the top of the soil layer kind of pinch in and just kind of shrink a little bit. Check underneath, check the soil underneath, of course, for moisture. And then if it is dry, go ahead and thoroughly rewater, okay? I will have to say ZZ has this other little bit of neat physiology here, where at the base of their stems, they kind of develop these bulbous sort of rhizomes, if you will, and you can kind of see them develop as they mature. Those, again, are water holding, basically, containers. So again, just make sure your watering is always on the drier side when you are talking about snake plant and ZZ especially, okay? We've got lots of different varieties here. I'm gonna start out with the snake plants because my gosh, the varieties have really become very different, very unusual. So there's a ton of different ones out there. The thick one over here is really fun. That's actually called whale fin. And of course you get that big, blue whale type of shape there, nice and rounded, kind of a light green. This one's Black Dragon. So if you're looking for a very, very dark leaf, again, the darker the leaf, you can keep it in kind of the lower the light and it will keep that darkness. Sometimes it will green out a little bit in low light. But it is a really great dark Sansevieria. Here is the classic. This is Laurentii. So you'll see kind of that gray, green, dark green in the center, the striping, and then the margins are this beautiful yellow. So Laurentii is, like I said, a classic. Right behind us here, we have just the straight snake plant. This is what you normally see, the Laurentii or this one. And this is the Landrica. So it's really just a pretty upright plant. And again, some of these classic varieties can grow up to about 3 feet in the home. Some of them might be a little bit shorter and a little bit slower growing. So just kind of depends what you prefer. Oh, and I have Moonbeam down here too. So Moonbeam is one of the lightest colored varieties, really pretty kind of shiny silver foliage. With ZZ, there's not as many varieties out there just yet. I'm sure that plant breeders all over the world are probably, vying for a new variety and discovering something else. Right now you have classic ZZ, which is just a nice dark evergreen color here. And I would say stems on ZZ plants can grow usually anywhere. You'll start to see them around 6 inches tall, but as they can grow probably around 3 foot, maybe even stretch a little bit more to 4 foot. They're not fast growers, either one of them. They're really not fast growers out there, so they can stay very in very small pots for a long time, and you don't have to repot them very often at all. This little one actually is the dwarf Zenzi. So that's your petite variety there. So you can kind of tell that the foliage and the nodes on the foliage are much closer together. So Zenzi is the dwarf. And then we have this beautiful new variety for us. We're really excited. This is actually called Chameleon. Beautiful sort of light yellow, greenish yellow foliage. There's a little bit of coloration and veining here as well, but some dark green too. So really a neat plant. And then behind me here, this dark one is Raven. So if you're looking again for that darker foliage color, kind of like a purpley bronze, in your houseplants, this would be a beautiful one to try as well. So this is, if you love this, try this segment again for low maintenance plants and enjoy.